Hey, what's up? So, this chapter was actually pretty informative. But before I get into it, I just want to say how much I appreciated those frogs lined up, just croaking. Obviously, they're representing the Straw Hats. I especially liked Zoro's frog in that. Actually, it's the cover of Shonen Jump, right? And I also really liked the Film Gold poster that we got. Film Gold, Gold, yeah. Unfortunately, though, I don't think they're going to be releasing it in the U.S. At least not simultaneously with Japan, because I mean the premiere is next month. So I figure if they were going to do it, we would have known about it already. Because they still need time to market it and all that stuff. Now, if you look at the color page, you'll see three people in the background. One of them is Rob Lucci. The other one is my man Sabo, and then another one is a guy with some glasses, some shades, and a hat. Who is that mysterious looking figure there? Huh. Now, when it comes to the chapter itself, I noticed something that I thought was really obvious, and that's the fact that I think Oda is really picking up the pace when it comes to this arc. For one, we're not visiting all the islands, like that's the way that Pudding drew the map. You don't get close enough to the island so that, the electrical sort of like, the transmissions don't pick you up and out you as an intruder, right? So Nami says we have to get close to the islands to see them, but not enough to dock or get close enough to them so that we get detected. So that's number one. They're not even going to go there. And Carrot, I think, was complaining like, "Oh no, it's Jam Island. Come on, we wanted to go see the Jam Island thing. Like that sounds delicious, right?" So a couple people complain, and I think that's Oda just saying we got to go to Whole Cake Island, man. We really have to speed this up. Another thing that makes me think that this is Oda speeding things up is the fact that we learn two pretty major things about Big Mom in this chapter. And for a character such as Big Mom that has been covered in secrecy ever since the introduction of the concept of the Yonko into the series, Big Mom, I felt, has been shrouded in mystery. And now in this chapter, it just kind of felt like Oda was like, you know what, fuck it, let them know. Now the question is, did you like what we found out about her in this chapter? Because in all honesty, I really do think that this chapter sets her up to be more friend than foe, if anything else. They introduce the fact that Big Mom has a disorder, all right? So it's not like she's going on a rampage, destroying and eating all these things, but at the same time, it's kind of, because it's a disorder, it's kind of like you kind of question, okay, well, is she really evil then? Or is it just part of like a mental problem that she has? It's an interesting take though, because when you think of an eating disorder, you think of like anorexia or bulimia, right? But in this case, it's quite different. So she gets a craving for something in specific. She goes on a rampage and she doesn't stop until she eats what she wants. Now, there's a couple of things that I think are worth noting when it comes to her rampages. Number one, the skull on the Jolly Roger of her hat changes expressions. So that was kind of a neat thing. I think it has to be a product of the same thing as the other living things that are around that shouldn't be alive, like the sun, the clouds, all that stuff. There's some trees there. She breaks them apart. So she pretty much just doesn't care when she's in those rampages who's ally and who's not. Like she just destroys everybody. Now another thing that's important to note are her eyes. They have spirals in them. That makes it seem to me, all right, I don't know about you, but that's a classic symptom of being hypnotized or being manipulated by somebody else. Now, because these are spirals, it may have something to do with the Vinsmokes because of the spirals, or the twirly eyebrow stuff. We don't know, and we'll only find out. You can only find out what the source of this is until you find out when it happened for the first time. Has she always had these rampages? If not, for how long has she been having them? When did they start? That sort of thing. Now, I don't think, here's the thing, all right? Yonkos are very territorial. So to me, for this to be something that she likes to do, like for Big Mom to say, yeah, I just like going crazy, just eating my shit and like going absolutely bonkers and destroying towns and shit, that doesn't make a lot of sense with the concept of the Yonko. Because Yonkos, they fill in like a supervisor type of role, right? They oversee stuff, they oversee territories. So to have one that has this sudden urge to destroy, or that has the risk of destroying territories like that, unless she's being manipulated or hypnotized by something else, It doesn't make a lot of sense. So why would a Yonko destroy their own territory? Or who would want a Yonko to end up destroying their own territory? Think about that for a bit. Another thing we find out in this chapter is her ability. We find out that she literally has the ability to pull the life away from people. Now there's a lot of really interesting things here concerning her ability. For one, if you refer back to her Jolly Roger, there's a tree there. I think this pretty much confirms the fact that, and in one of my previous theories I did say that the tree represents life, so she may have the ability to not just take away life, but also give it to stuff. So that explains the inanimate objects that have like faces and look like they are alive when they shouldn't be. Now if you notice, there's a shot where she takes away Master Muscat's life away, her own son's life away. But Oda does something really sneaky. He cuts away immediately after, so we don't really know what she does with that life force. And I'm beginning to get a lot of similarities between her ability and Moria's ability. What Moria could do with shadows, it seems as if this is what she can do with life. So I'm guessing that she has the power to take away somebody's lifespan and absorb it into herself. The thing here is that before she does this, Muscat is told, hey, if you cower, if you act cowardly, that's when you give her the opportunity to take the lifespan away. So I wonder, does this ability work with people who are brave? And if not, what happens then? Because Luffy has lost a considerable amount of life due to different treatments or abilities that he's used. So I wonder if he can regain some of that life back. Another thing here is that this may incorporate her meeting Kaido somewhere down the line, because Kaido tries to commit suicide as a hobby. So if she can find a way to reduce his lifespan or something, at least neutralize the effect of being immortal, that's what Kaido wants, isn't it? He just wants to die. I don't know. It might work itself into the story later on. Not to say that Kaido would be afraid of her. I don't think. Anyway, Jinbei shows up, and he throws her the cream puffs. We actually see the cream puffs being swallowed, which was a little bit messed up. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the rampage. And then we find out that Jinbei, and this was kind of like facepalm moment, you know, what happened here, Jinbei? What the fuck, dude? He gave her the poneglyph. Did he know that Robin was collecting? I don't know. So yeah, he gave her the poneglyph that he found in the cover story. Now, here's the thing. Was that a normal poneglyph, or was that an actual... I don't think it was the road poneglyph, because I think it was already established that the Yonko have the red poneglyphs regardless. So I think she has an extra... She has 2 poneglyphs now. Unless that was the 4th poneglyph that nobody knows where it is. Then she has 2 road poneglyphs. I don't know. I don't want to make fucking assumptions about that shit. Not yet. It's too early for that. And then Jinbei just tells her, I have something really important to talk to you about. And then she's like, not thinking about leaving my crew, are you? Which, of course, we know that eventually, if he's going to join the Straw Hats, he has to do that. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but there's this one panel during the rampage where Big Mom grabs the sun. She throws it, it explodes, and then on the next page, we see the sun up again. So I don't know what happened with that. The crew dynamics were pretty cool in this episode. I love Luffy messing everything up, not knowing how to do anything but fight. And, you know, Nami at one point did say, I'm going to cook food for you guys. And Luffy's like, oh, we're not paying for that. She's like, I don't want you to pay me. What? What happened here? And then it's also confirmed that Pedro has visited Whole Cake Island before. Unfortunately, he gets caught off by a giant centipede that just comes out of the water. And I like the position, assumed position, all the fighters, Brook, Carrot, Luffy, and Pedro are ready to kick its ass. Luffy's like super confident about this. He's like, this is where I shine. We also see Tamago in this chapter, and he's hanging around a girl with a top hat that kind of reminds me of Bonnie. I don't know. I just really want Bonnie to be part of this arc. It would just be a missed opportunity if she wasn't part of this arc, especially because we know that Oda, we're on a race to the finish line at this point, so I really want to see Bonnie. That being said, because of the previous points that I mentioned, this chapter, as contradictory as it may sound, really made me think that Big Mom may not be, you know, the big bad, may not be as evil as we think that she is, or she was. The Vinsmokes, on the other hand, yeah, they're seeming more and more sketchy by the chapter, with the exception of Reiju and Yonji. Yonji's a douche, but I don't think he's like, oh, he's an evil guy. The other Vinsmokes, I'm like, and here's the thing. We got an Oda box for Big Mom saying Charlotte Lindman first, before we got one for Daddy Vinsmoke. What does that mean? It means that Oda wants to keep Daddy Vinsmoke in the shade, in the shadows. So that seems very suspicious to me. I don't know what's going to happen. Leave me your theories down below. Comment. Like the video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel for more One Piece content. Thank you guys. Bye.